welcome to the first ever episode of Dinner and Discourse. I'm Yasmin.
I'm Ashley Everett, the co-host.
And we're so excited to be here. We're here with Christian Martin, the owner of Martin's Cocina and Cantina in the city of Inglewood.
That's right.
Welcome, Christian.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for making me a part of the first ever episode. My name is Christian Martin. I'm the owner here at Martin's Cocina y Cantina, located in the beautiful city of Inglewood.
So tell us a little bit about Martin's, your family legacy. No, this is one of 6 restaurants that you have right here in Inglewood.
Correct.
But tell us about how this all came to be.
So when we got out of high school and going back to the year 2005-06, all of us were wrapping up high school, and we were kind of in the middle between, do we continue to work our jobs? My dad has always been an entrepreneur, but there was a window where he was doing kind of construction. And so we were a little bit, we knew we wanted to do something, we just didn't know what. So when you fast forward to 2009, we came across a space here in Inglewood, which was like 3 blocks away from where we grew up. So we grew up on Fairview Boulevard, a house that we still own today.
Wow.
My dad bought that in 1981. So it was the house, we've been here our whole life. And
How many of you is it?
It's
Do you have
5.
siblings?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 5.
Nice.
It's 4 boys and 1 girl.
Okay.
And so, we found this restaurant maybe 3 blocks away from the house that we grew up in, and we thought Inglewood doesn't have like sit-down Mexican restaurants where you can sit down, have a margarita. Ironically speaking, the restaurant we're at right now was Los Ponchos, which was probably
Right.
the only kind of staple restaurant that had its day like in the 90s.
I
and
totally
yeah.
forgot. I used
Yeah.
to come to Los Panchos, but I completely
Yeah.
forgot that this is the same
This was it.
spot.
This was
That's
the spot.
crazy.
So,
at that.
so we figured we'd open a Mexican restaurant for the community to be able to enjoy, some of our best Mexican dishes and also margarita. We knew we wanted to bring in alcohol. So, in the beginning, as I kind of mentioned to you before, it was just the family. We had maybe 2 employees, and all of it was family. So my mom and dad in the kitchen with 1 other cook. My brothers, sisters were on the front, and we had our day job, and then we had this. So we had to, work our regular job. When you weren't working there, you were working at the restaurant.
Wow.
And so we started like that, and just, didn't really know where it was gonna go. And here we are, like 14 years later, with 6 restaurants in England.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That is incredible.
Pat yourself on the back because that's
Thank
so
you.
impressive.
Thank you.
And in your hometown too,
That's right.
neighborhood.
And I tell every chance I get, I take the opportunity to, number one, it's not just me, it's a whole team. Obviously, it's a family business, and even behind the family, there's a bunch of staff and employees that have contributed to our success and continue to contribute every day. So it's really a team effort, and I always give thanks to God and then to my parents. I love to honor them every chance I get, because without them we wouldn't be where we're at. They've worked so hard for our family, and here comes this other generation, and we're just trying to get them to go take a vacation somewhere and relax and,
Yeah.
and pay it forward for all the work they've done for us throughout the years.
I
That's
love that.
amazing. So tell us how we got here to Martin's. This is like Martin's 2.0,
Yeah.
Martin's Platinum Edition.
So I love telling this story because it's really just a story of we had Fiesta Martin Bar and Grill, which is like a stone's throw away here on Florence, and we got a call that Los Ponchos had gone out of business. And we said, hey, there's a space there, and originally we thought, what are we gonna do? We already have one around the corner. But then we had the opportunity to talk to the previous owner of the property and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we can make something happen here. So we knew we wanted to buy the property, but then we started thinking, well, what we can't have the same restaurant just a block away. So it was a challenge, but also an inspiration to say we got to come up with something different. And we started to really think about what brought us to our first restaurant. What does the city need? What's it lacking, and what would the city really benefit from? So despite us the time that it was in, because we bought it in 2019, and we went full steam ahead with trying to open it in a year, and then you snap your fingers and
Right.
COVID. And
COVID.
and then it just became like a surreal moment, because you're thinking, here I am building a restaurant when they're literally shutting down restaurants.
Right.
It was such an insecure moment at the time with COVID
Sure.
that you didn't know what was going to happen. So it was a little surreal, but we kept pulling forward. And we started with the design, and we said we know we want to build a space where people it will uplift them. It would bring Inglewood, and you hear people say, I'm leaving Inglewood for a nice restaurant. We wanted that to change.
Yeah.
We wanted to kind of be a trailblazer and have other folks, that restaurateurs or people, to say, hey, it's worth it to invest in Inglewood. If you build it, the people will come, right?
Yes.
And so we built that model with the juice bars, as we talked about earlier.
Right.
Where why doesn't Inglewood have a nice looking restaurant? We do want that, and if you build it, the people will come. So we started there. We started with the decor, and then once we saw the restaurant coming along, we said, okay, we got to do something with this food. We can't just do our regular. So we brought in some of our prime steaks. We got filet mignon, ribeyes, New York.
Delicious.
And then we trialed this at our Fiesta Martin location as we were building this.
Yeah.
We said, let's see how the people respond, and it was an absolute hit.
I
Everybody
personally
loved it.
always get the
Everybody-
sushi when I come here. I get the dragon roll every time. So you guys have amazing,
People
fresh,
love
delicious
sushi in California.
Yeah.
So, a little bit more research I did, with the sushi is because when you Google sushi in Inglewood, and it's like very few places, and most of them are kind of takeout, kind of like a spot, but none of them are a space where you can sit down, have a margarita and a sushi, at least not in Inglewood.
Right.
It didn't exist. So we just, our family and I, we love to create spaces that don't exist. And
Yes.
and particularly, like I said, being born and raised in Inglewood, you saw that kind of lacking for so many years. And,
Yeah.
we talked a little bit off camera about me growing up in Santa Monica
Right.
and some of these other things. I got to see the difference in, like, why them and not us? Why can't Santa Monica have these things, or Venice or Beverly Hills, and why do they have that and not Inglewood? And
Yeah.
so we are trying to really be, like I said, trailblaze that area and say, the community of Inglewood also wants, nice spaces.
Exactly.
There's a now movie theater now that they're building. It's like, these are the things that we've been lacking for so many years, and we're just a small piece of the big Inglewood community that we're a part of, and we're just trying to do our part in.
You're doing it.
in,
You're not trying,
in
you're
changing-
doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Thank you
One
so
thing,
much.
one thing I definitely want to point out is that now we're so close to SoFi Stadium. There's been Taylor Swift, Beyonce,
Super
Metallica, Super Bowl,
WrestleMania.
and one thing that
gosh.
you guys have made your signature are the cocktails
Yeah.
that you create for each and every. They're all themed.
Occasion or whatever.
Yeah, there's like a
Wow.
Virgo's Groove cocktail for the
Wow.
Beyonce, and then the
Halo
Swifties.
and the Swift.
Wow, that's so smart.
Yeah, thank
Capitalize, yeah.
So it's really a two-part thing. We really just wanted to enhance the experience, right, of people visiting Inglewood, and then we wanted them to leave with that, of like, there's a reason for them to want to come back to Inglewood. And again, a lot of this passion that you hear me talk about comes from it being my hometown, and having that pride and ownership and pride in your city, and wanting people, the way we talk about Vegas or the way we talk about Atlanta or like places, we want that same conversation to happen when people talk about Inglewood. Say, I want to go back to Inglewood. It was great. There was great
Yeah.
restaurants. It was a great stadium.
So
it was great food, great everything, right? So going back to this idea of the drinks is, we started to see the trend when the Forum reopened. So mind you, when we opened the restaurant, nothing was open. The Forum was closed. Everything was done. But
Wow.
once they reopened the Forum in like 2014 or 15, I can't recall the year, we started to see people coming to that restaurant, the first Fiesta. So we started playing music. Like, if there's a Garth Brooks concert, we play
Yeah.
Garth Brooks. And we started to see people really love that. Like, oh, this is great. And then, so by the time we came to this restaurant, we said, okay, we got to take that, like, not just the music, but what else? So that's where we said,
The next level.
Let's enhance the experience with kind of a cocktail menu.
That's genius.
And
It's so genius,
And then we have transportation. So the other day we had Channel 11 here, and we kind of showed them like this. So this is how it works. You can come to a Beyonce concert. You can park your car here with our valet. You can eat. You can have Beyonce-inspired drinks. And when you're done, you can jump in our shuttle, and we'll drop you right in the front door of the concert.
Oh, you guys
And when
are
you're
really.
Yes.
And when you're
That's
done,
next level.
when you're done with the concert, we can pick you up, bring you back, and you can either dine in for some more food
Yeah,
and drinks,
like
or you can
eat
go home.
and drink
Either way.
again. Wow,
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
so smart.
and it really is just this tailored experience of
I'm
Inglewood.
so happy to know that too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
he's really thought of everything.
That's so
I'm
great.
like,
And
so
even on the
great.
drives there, we put like the inspired music
Yeah,
to hype
of
people
course,
up,
yeah.
and
And then you get like tips and all the extra stuff. It's so great.
It works, and again, when the next time that people talk about Inglewood, or when they go, they're having a table talk, or like imagine people that come from Orange County, or we've seen people all over Canada, everywhere. They're like, when they go back in their circle, they say,
Yeah, they're gonna
you
tell
have
their
to go
friends.
to Inglewood. You have to go to this restaurant,
Yep.
and hopefully it starts there, and it doesn't stop there. Hopefully they check out the shop on the way,
Right.
and then they change their tire or put gas. Like
Yeah.
we want to really grow this thing that we have going on. And obviously, there's the big money like the stadiums and these things that are a big contribution to that, but we are part of the small business community.
Yeah,
and
there's ways for everyone to win with
absolutely,
this.
absolutely. And a lot of, I'll just leave the note on this, that a lot of small businesses or even the community has been intimidated with kind of like, hey, well, what's going to happen? And we just want to, being like residents of Inglewood our whole life, is it kind of lead that and embrace the change. There's nothing we can do. They're not knocking on the stadium tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? We got to embrace it. We have to make it part of our community.
You have to change with it.
Exactly. And work with, hey, let me pick up the phone and call the Rams and see if they're willing to work with me, or whatever you can. But they're a part of the community. They need us as much as we need them.
Absolutely.
And let's work together and let's make this thing happen. The new Inglewood.
The new Inglewood.
Inglewood.
Oh my gosh, that's a powerful way to end this whole thing. The food looks delicious. The drinks, sure we'll have them on camera in just a little bit.
That's right.
And Christian, you're just amazing. Ever since I met this guy, he's just been so hospitable, so warm, so welcoming. And I can't say enough good things.
Thank you. I hope you guys enjoy the food, and for your viewers, you mentioned this. It's the first episode, right? And I think it's going to be one of many more shows to come. You're like a shining star, and you have this aura about you of great energy. And like I said, when you told me to be a part of it, I was very humbled that you asked, and would do anything I can to help you out and people that are in our community. So it's an extension of my family, and saying thank you for choosing Inglewood. Thank you for choosing our restaurant to do your first show, and we're here to help you out all along the way.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Girl, that was so interesting, and I loved learning all about the history of Martin's, because I can't wait to try the food.
I know. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite spots to come. And you know what? Today, I am really excited to have this conversation because we're all in our 30s now. And
Yes, girl.
it's time to pivot. And we've all probably lived our initial dreams. And now it's time to dream a new dream, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have definitely hit many dreams, and I'm like, we gotta keep recreating these dreams, like, and how do we do that,
Yeah. And so joining us here today, we have Miss Charlie Rain,
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm
who
so
is
excited.
experiencing the power of the pivot as well. So
Pivot is real.
it's
Yes,
real.
I'm honored.
Yes, and all
I
of
know.
this.
This looks delicious.
Yeah. So I think maybe to kind of ground the conversation, we all can kind of talk about some of the things that we've done, we've already accomplished, and then at what point did you discover, like, hey, maybe this dream has come to life and it's time for something new?
Man,
Well,
you wanna
me
who
to
wanna
start?
start? Who wanna start?
No, like, who wants to go first? There's been a few.
I know, for real.
Yeah, well, first of all, when you told me about this conversation, see, I don't know your whole story yet, but because I'm excited to hear it from your perspective, like just right here, right? But for me, I feel like when you look at my life, how you reference it,
Sorry to interrupt, but we got some drinks here.
Oh, these look amazing.
How are we gonna choose which one?
I know.
Is it a show without some alcohol drinks?
I know. We need a little libation
There you go.
to help.
Thank you.
So that's actually our all-night drink by Beyonce.
Oh, very fitting.
This one,
Very fitting.
This one is our famous Inglewood 90301 drink.
Oh, cute.
And that one was called The Lover from the Taylor Swift
Oh, so cute.
The lover. Also fitting.
Thank you.
cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. Let's do a little cheers.
Cheers to the pivot, to whatever's next.
Cheers to what's next.
Period.
Let me taste.
Oh my gosh,
That is delicious.
It really came.
So good.
It tastes like a popsicle.
Yeah, oh my
I
God.
know. I
Like
could
too
keep drinking that.
That's very, very, very good. Very good.
perfect timing for our conversation because I want us to get real.
Yeah. So, well, what I was gonna say was just like when I look back of how it was interesting to hear why you wanted me to talk about like you got married and you had the kids, and I'm like, yeah, that is like a major like I made it moment, right? Like so many people feel like, okay, I got it. And in fact, I would even argue that a lot of people's dreams are rooted in let me do this so I can get the money, so I can have the house, the kids, and the car, right? And that's not everyone's dream, but it is the kind of American
Yeah,
standard.
that's one of the dreams that I'm still waiting to happen. I'm like,
Okay,
when is
so
the husband
sis,
coming?
you brought
Already
the
got one of the
perfect person
kids,
in.
but like, girl, I'm ready.
Where's the rest?
Right, you brought the perfect girl in for the pivot because I don't think it's to pivot the desire for those things. I think it's time to pivot the reinvention of yourself to identify what do those things mean to you.
Right.
Meaning like, okay, if I want a husband, what kind of husband? If I want kids, how many kids? Those are things I didn't think of. So by the time I woke up 18 years into a marriage with 5 kids and I was like, okay, I'm ready to follow another dream, and that dream wasn't compatible with my situation, I had to unravel like, so was this God or was this free will? And I chose this dream because that's what I thought I wanted, but I never even stopped to say, do I want to be married? Do I want to have kids? I don't.
Just kinda like
I
let
just
life
did it because
steamroll.
I let the thing. And I remember, I'll end on this. I remember meeting my ex-husband. I was still in high school. I was at a track meet, and he was in the NFL. And I was like, well, I'm going from high school to the pros. What else is there to accomplish? Like, that's
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
what my mindset was. Like, I made it. I found a man who I'm attracted to. He's attracted to me. He's got the career. He's athletic. He's successful. What else is there?
That's like a lot of women's dream, especially to be
I-
like a football wife, you know,
is.
like
And I'm gonna be like, it's not from I didn't dream to be a football wife, but I was like, dang, women dream about this, and it
Uh-huh.
came
So
to
it
me.
must be great.
Thank you, God, sign me up, and I was
Yeah.
locked in at 18. But it was like you didn't even know who you were. So I got a lot to say. I'm gonna just put that
Oh
right
my
there.
goodness.
yeah. And Ash, you are going through a big pivot.
Yeah.
Speaking of Beyonce,
You know, it's crazy because I've always been, I feel like, the career girl. So, like, I'm in my 30s without any kids yet, you know? And people are like, are you ever going to start?
Yeah.
And are you going to da-da-da? And it's like I've always chosen the career. And it's been incredible, you know, working with Beyonce. I started with her also at 17, straight out of high school,
Wow.
like in my senior
Wow.
year, you know? Like, that's been all I've known in my adulthood, basically. You know, I've also worked with tons of other people in between, but she's consistently been there for the last 17 years, you know? So a lot of people feel like, what's better than that?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how can you get any better than that? And I understand that. Of course, she is Beyonce. She's the queen. She's incredible. But you know, I've been there literally since I was a child. Like, it feels like it's time for me to spread my wings as an adult, like individually,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's hard for people to understand that, but I just know I need it for myself and my own growth, you know? And so here we are
Yeah.
today, like
Yeah.
pouring into me because I've given her everything I could give, really,
Do
you
you-
know,
do you-
professionally.
Do
So
you feel like you didn't have kids because it was like there wasn't time for that, so that wasn't your focus, or did you consciously choose that? Like, I don't want kids because I need to do this in my career.
it was just not my focus. My
Yeah.
focus was all the career, and there was so much happening. It never
Yeah.
did happen.
Yeah, there wasn't
on
space
its
for
own.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there was
Yeah.
no space for it. Yeah. Even marriage and stuff. I was in a long relationship, 8-year relationship in my 20s, got engaged and all that. And the engagement was the beginning of the end. It really opened my eyes, and I was like, I don't want this forever. And no, actually, no. So we broke up before we ever like got married or anything. And yeah, it's I've always just been the career girl. So now I am pivoting into like, I think about kids much more often now. I have baby fever all the time. I want to get settled down and get married one day, and you know, like, but also still have the next chapter of
Right.
my career.
Like,
Who
what's
is,
next?
You know, what is
Yeah.
next?
how
for
are we
Ashley?
evolving? Yeah. One thing I think that's really important to kind of point out for both of you, whether it's marriage or career, is that no one wants to be defined by someone else.
Yes.
That
By being in the
part.
shadow of someone else. It doesn't matter if it's an NFL husband
Or
or
a
the world's
superstar.
biggest superstar. It's like, I'm still me,
Mm-hmm.
and I still have my own dreams, my own goals, and what does that look like, and how do I show up
And
for
those
myself?
dreams and goals were once, something that I wanted, and we got them.
Yeah.
Many times over and over and over again, And then eventually you're like, I want more.
Yeah.
I want other ones. I want to, do
Yeah.
things I've never done before now.
Yeah, I think about that in my own life too, because just like you, like I've always had that career, I've always had the cool job, I've always had those things. And even though being a mother was a part of one of my goals, the way I became a mother wasn't exactly in my plan. I had never planned to be a single mom by this like athlete guy that was like here training for the Olympics. Like, my story is ridiculous. Like, I could have never written it. And so I feel like now I'm like really good at this mom shit. Like, I got it on lock.
Yeah.
I got my career on lock, but it's like, okay, but what's next? And like some of the parts I can't control. I can't control when I get married or who I get married to necessarily. I mean, I can control the person, but I don't have control over the timing. But it's like, okay, but if that never happens, how am I going to make the most of my life now? And I think that's kind of to your point. It's like, how do you define what those goals mean to you?
I'm obsessed with the archetypes of the woman right now. The maiden, the single woman, the wife, the mother, the nurturer, the healer, the creator, the boss, the queen. And what my theory is there's women on this planet who will never have children. That doesn't mean they're less of a woman, right? And they may always have a desire. So I think as a woman, to be whole, we always are going to have desires to have even the hoe phase or the, like, what is that like? If you've never done it, and that, like, for me, when I was married for 18 years, I only had one partner my pretty much whole life. When I got out, I thought, okay, now it's time to do the hoe phase, because most people do the hoe phase in
Younger.
college, high school. I got out into them streets and I was like, oh, no. But I had to taste it. I had to dabble to know it wasn't for me. And I think that's my advice to people is like, yes, listen to the podcast, take our advice, learn from our lessons, but don't let it define you. Let it like hit your spirit and then say, how do I feel about that? Okay, I don't need to go through, let's just say, drugs to know drugs may destroy you. Some people have to actually experience it. Like, you can't define what lets someone know who they are, but I just want everyone listening to know that you're not defined by a successful career or a baby or a husband or a title. And that's why you have to do the work. Because at the end of the day, if you're searching for a goal or the next thing, that just means it's probably because you're searching for something else inside of you.
That's so true. I will say, like, at the top of 2022, I did a sound bath, and it was with a woman who I used to baby when I first moved to LA, and I was like 22. I used to babysit her kids.
Wow.
And now at that time, she was like going through a divorce. She was having these like sound baths for women, and so I went, and during that sound bath, I literally had a spiritual awakening, and during the meditation, I just kept hearing like, but what pleases you? You do all these things for other people. I work in marketing, I work in PR, I manage talent, but like, what are you doing to feed yourself? How are you pleasing yourself? How does anyone else know how to please you or to serve you if you're not first serving yourself, pleasing yourself? And so I felt like after I came out of that meditation, and it's like so when I indulge, I take notes. Which I feel like, because it helps, tap into higher frequency thoughts. And so I had taken these notes, and it was like I was regurgitating every negative programming that I had told myself or that the world had told me. And then once it was painful to reread, but once I got it all out, it's like I started seeing myself the way that God saw me.
Wow.
And it was like, yo, like, you're really dope. It was like I was seeing myself for the first time. Like, I had just been passing myself in the mirror, just like taking quick glances, and most times hating what I saw, was in disgust of myself for whatever reason, whatever imperfection I found that day. But like after that period, it's like, no, like I really started to get comfortable with my own, God-like form and my own goddess nature. And it was just such a pivotal moment for me. And I felt like before I really did have marriage on a pedestal, and I felt like very incomplete. And granted, I still want that. I still desire partnership, but now I know that like I'm that bitch regardless. You know what I mean? Like I really am, and I think you both are. Like
Absolutely.
that bitch regardless.
Absolutely. I feel like that. With or without a husband, kids, I definitely feel like that. But I still want it too. And I have a great partner and boyfriend right now too, so I
Yeah.
love that.
Shouts out to him.
Shout out to him. Thank you. But yeah, that makes a huge difference
Yeah.
too. Huge
And one thing
difference.
I really admire how you've been able to pivot. And yes, a lot of people associate you with being Beyonce's dance captain, but you're paying your bills without that.
I sure am.
You
And
have
yes,
so many
we're
other.
doing, honestly, better. A lot of
Yeah.
times. Because sadly, and this is something that I don't talk about often, but dancers are not treated the best. Like, we are honestly at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to everyone in the industry, actors, models, musicians, so. And I'm not saying that that's the case everywhere, but it's hard being a dancer. And I always tell all my dancer friends and anyone honestly in this industry, don't have all your eggs in one basket. Do not, but definitely not a dancer, because you just don't ever know like when things will not be there, doors close and open all the time, but like opportunities and things are just, they're not consistent enough, And it's just so hard. So I really try to be mindful of keeping my eggs spread out and pouring into those baskets that I enjoy and love too. And so that's why my pivot has been smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that we misunderstand that we're supposed to like, and this is why I've been such a idol in the mom wife category, because everyone would come to me like, how do you do it? How are you married happily? Because they're looking at Instagram, right? And we were happily married. Like I think there was things that we were unequally yoked, and that's why our marriage expired. And I think that's what I wanted to pinpoint about a pivot, is just because you're pivoting doesn't mean what you were coming from didn't work or wasn't good. It just means it's time.
It's time for a
It's
change.
time to, like, if you look at the world,
keep growing.
and
That's
I
what you need.
yes, and I believe that the universe is literally rocking. Since COVID, it's rocking us, because God's like, y'all are getting it wrong. I didn't create you to just sit in one place. I created you to, and so I just want to say this, because this is something I teach women who come to me like, how do you do all the things? I do them all because I'm not defined by any of them.
Right.
So I don't need to be like, oh, no one else can watch my kids. I'm a mother, but there is a community of people. You gotta, like, we're like, community is a huge thing that's missing. The village. We gotta get rid of the idea that now that that's your child, you're the only one you can trust to watch them. That's hurting you, and it's hurting your child, because when they get into the world, there's not just one person who's gonna take care of them. Like, we gotta loosen up on, like, it's a collective effort, and that's what I'm hearing you
can't do
say
it all by yourself.
Yes.
so when people say, how do you do it all? I'm like, I don't. That's why I'm doing it, because I have help. I do this, but yeah,
And
so
you're not defined by one thing.
you're not defined. And then I think we misunderstand, like, the desire for a partner. You guys are partnering now, so you're actually getting the energy of having a partner by partnering up on a project, and now you're birthing something that you guys get to nurture and you get to feed. So it's like, we also have to reprogram our brains of what does it mean for a woman to mother something or to be in partnership with someone. It's an energy. It's an exchange of humanness. You know what I'm saying? And
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
so good.
that's been helping
You're
me.
so deep.
I know. It's been helping me.
All the
It's all the
things.
words that I can never think of. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to say.
It's been helping me come to terms with it, because it's like, it is very devastating. Like, I lost my whole identity.
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
choice. I chose to walk away from everything. And it was like, and then I noticed recently I was denying the identity of single mom. I didn't want to be labeled as a single mom.
I rarely use that
I
phrase.
didn't even want to say it, but then I had to ask myself, why are you making this a negative thing?
Yeah,
I get to make it what it is. It's my reality. So now it's like, yes, I'm a single mom. And, so you got to stop letting people label and then identify the label. If someone labels, and then believing what they say.
You have to define yourself
there's
for
always
yourself.
gonna be that. There's
Yes.
also always going to be people who are like, you ain't shit, you'll never be
Exactly.
shit, whatever. And you just cannot believe. You got to believe in yourself more than what other people believe.
Yeah, and belief. Okay, I'm like, I feel like I'm on the soapbox now, but like,
You go.
but But belief is the one of, I would say, if not the most strongest energies we can have is belief. If you look at biblical, if you're not spiritual on Bible, if you just look at universal law, manifestation, anything that requires like getting what you want, it requires blind faith and
Yeah,
belief.
the belief.
And but what people miss is that your brain collects evidence to support the beliefs that you're subconsciously believing. So you have to go do the work. You have to see, what do I believe about money? What do I believe about men? What do I believe about relationships? What do I believe about life? That's what you're manifesting as an adult, unless you went back and you reprogrammed whatever you saw as a child of what that belief was. And we can be like, when you said, I saw myself for the first time, I had that spiritual awakening too. And I realized, you know what? I am beautiful. I am talented. I am blessed. I'm all these things. And I'm over here my biggest critic. But
Right.
it's because I'm believing the labels that everyone said. I'm just a mom. I'm not successful yet. I'm a dreamer, but I don't ever pop on what I do. And it's like, oh, I'm successful because I've helped 100 women or 1,000 women. Maybe I haven't helped a million. So it's all about reprogramming
Yeah.
that energy.
I also love what you mentioned about community, because so many times we think that village is just supposed to stop like as we have young children, but the village really helps us too. So I'll just share a little quick story. So I went home. I'm from Atlanta and DC originally. I've been in LA my entire adult life, but for my birthday, I just really wanted to be around my family. This year has been a tough year, went through some big losses, and I just wanted to be around people who love me from the jump. And so part of that was having like my mom there. So, and I'm in therapy. So I've realized that like, you might not know that you have like this mother wound, or you may not realize certain things that you feel like your parent did or didn't do for you. But as adults, it's your own job. Regardless, your parents did the best that they could. It's your job as an adult to fix it. So anyway,
Yes.
go to DC for my birthday. Literally the day before I'm leaving, my mom texts me. The whole reason I'm going to DC is to be with her, see my brother, and see like, extended family members. My mom texts me the day before and it's just like, oh, I can't make it. So and so, her boyfriend had to get his gallbladder removed. Like old people problems. But I was like devastated, because I'm like, the whole reason I'm coming to DC is to be with you. I've never spent an adult birthday with my mother. The last birthday I've ever spent with my mother, I was about 14 or 15.
Wow.
Wow.
And so it was like heartbreaking. Like I was depressed.
Devastated.
I was devastated over it.
And that
But
was the day before your birthday, or
the day before I left.
Oh.
And so it was not even enough time. Like, okay, I'll just take me to Mayor Mexico. It wasn't even enough time for me to think about a different plan. But what I realized when I got there is like, the love that I'm looking for, or the support that I'm looking for, doesn't just have to come from my mother. My mother is one person, and she's gonna be there when she can be there. She's gonna come to my son's grandparents' day later this month. But like, if she can't be there, she can't be there.
Yeah.
And like, you can't hold that over her head. But like, while I was there, I reconnected with aunts, with godmothers,
Yeah.
and had really rich conversations, maybe even more rich than what I would get from my mother. Because like with my own mother, it's like kind of hard to get advice sometimes. Like when I hear that song No Guidance by Chris Brown and Drake, like I can relate, because I felt like my parents, they raised me right, but I didn't have a lot of hand holding. I didn't have a lot of guidance. And so the things that I was looking for at this point, about which guy to marry, if I want to take a new job, what does that look like, I was able to get from the other elder women in my life
Yeah.
that were there, that always loved me, that were like waiting for me to come
Waiting
home.
for that moment.
And it's like, yo, you got to learn how to tap into your community.
Yeah.
Not just to watch your kids, or not just to be there, but to be there for you as well. Because they're waiting. They've been waiting, People who love you have been waiting to be there for you.
And look how you were able to see the beauty in them by not focusing on dwelling on. My mom wasn't there, because a lot of us will just
Yeah.
harness on that, go sit in the room, be mad,
and
and,
let it-
then
Yeah.
miss what's in front of you. And
Yeah.
you got, like, speaking of a pivot, I think one of the ingredients of a successful pivot is surrender. It's accepting what is,
Going with the
and
flow.
going with the flow, and getting in alignment, because when you resist anything, it's just going to get bigger and harder and stronger. So I think that's beautiful in your story of like how you were able to like shift that. And the mother
Yeah.
wound is a real thing. We
It's
all
a
got
real thing, and I mean, and sometimes you don't always see it because when I'm thinking from my logical brain, it's like, no, my mother
She
was
did her
there.
best.
She held it
She was doing
down.
everything we
She
had.
saved the day time and time again. But then, as you become an adult, you can see your parents as people.
Oh,
And
absolutely. And
I
then you
think their
start parenting
humanity.
your parents,
Yes.
and you're like,
Yes.
wow, this is
Yeah.
crazy. And times are different. It's just different times. We do stuff different. We don't
Yeah.
go by the same old school, traditional rules, So
Yeah.
it is different. I feel that a lot
Yes.
now with my parents and my
Yes.
family. And yeah,
It's-
I just saw my parents yesterday too. So
Yeah.
very fresh. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't take how amazing they were to you, because I think sometimes people have to feel like they were abused or they were neglected or they
Yes.
were to be able to admit that they had like a parent wound or there was a way that their parents didn't quite show up for them. And I think us all being around the same age, it's like a lot of our parents were emotionally unavailable
Yes.
because that was just that
That's what they were
generation.
doing.
Yeah.
That's just who they were.
Yeah.
Can I share something?
yeah,
on that?
sure.
Because I feel like this can bless so many people if they really take heed to it. So I'm like, okay, this is divine timing. This past week, part of why I don't have a voice or my voice is like struggling is because my daughter was on her period and she gave me permission to share this story. And just the fact that I feel the need to preface that is why I want to say this, because we've got to dismantle this dialogue. Number one, yes, she has a period, and I'm saying,
Yeah.
just that has a stigma.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, she's talking about her daughter's period.
Yeah,
It's like,
alert,
yes,
alert.
Yes.
Like,
Yes,
no.
women bleed every month,
Yeah.
hopefully, and if
Yes,
we don't,
if
it
we're
means
healthy.
something's not
Yeah.
right. So please let us bleed in peace. So she
Yeah.
was on her period, and she's like rocking, and she's crying, and she's like, "Mom, my cramps, my cramps." So I was like, okay, I said meditation. I'm trying to teach her pain is not bigger than you. So you got to breathe. If you focus on the pain, it's going to get bigger. You got to be bigger. So I'm coaching her through that. That doesn't work. I give her Advil. That doesn't work. She's on the floor. It's something in my spirit because, mind you, I've been healing my mother wound with my mom and I've been doing my own work. So all of a sudden it hit me. God was like, she's healing now at 16 instead of 36. So I was like, oh my God. So I literally was like, sis, I said, the pain is because, okay, pause really quick for context. I learned from a woman who teaches about the woman's period that if you have cramps, it's a sign your body's telling you there's something wrong internally.
Yeah.
Not a disease necessarily, but there's trauma, there's dis-ease, right?
Yeah, 'cause
so
we're not supposed to be in pain.
we're not supposed to be in pain. So fast forward, it clicked. Like I said, you're in pain because, and I just listed off her year. I said, your parents are going through divorce. You're the oldest sibling. You went through a breakup. You've had sexual abuse. There's been so much stuff in your life. You're carrying so much trauma. And I just started praying over her. I rebuke this in the name of Jesus. You have to leave her body, get this pain. And I was like having this out of body experience. Like this is the power that we're looking for when we're praying or when we're doing all these
Right.
things. It's like, it's right here, right now. All that to say, she starts going into a full catharsis, like screaming and yelling, and I don't want this anymore. And what? And she said I could share this,
No.
but the things that were coming out of her mouth was her mother wound. She starts saying, I just want a hug. I just want a hug.
Wow.
Okay, all that to say, when I did my mother wound healing, all I wanted was my mom to play with me. So what I want people to hear about the mother wound, because they may not know what that is, right? If you've not done the work, it's something you needed from your mom when you were a child that she couldn't give you when you needed it, and you internalized it and said, I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of being played with. I'm not worthy of time. I'm not worthy of whatever. And kids spell love Time.
Yes, they
So
do.
when we have emotionally unavailable parents because they're at work and they're working 3 jobs and they're trying to orchestrate. Now as a single mom, I'm like, no wonder my mom wasn't available for me.
Right.
Because she was trying to figure out how to put food on the table and gas in the car and get us to practice and get us to school and homework. And oh my God. So I hope people watching have grace on both sides of the
Right.
spectrum. And that's what I'm hearing you say. It's like you had so much grace for your mom. Like she did her best, but it's up to me to not internalize and to know I am that bitch no matter what I internalized as a kid.
Right.
You know, and so I had
so
to share that because
powerful.
it was like a generational curse got broken in front of me in my house But I'm like, that gets to be celebrated because we talk about it, but how we actually experience it, how we actually went through the pain. I said, you're gonna feel this pain. I want you to visualize that man that tried to sexually assault you. I want you to visualize why are you mad at mommy? Why are you mad at daddy? What are you? She's like, it's annoying. Why can't you guys just get? And she was just letting it out, and I'm like coaching her through it. But that's what it looks like to feel pain, so you can move through it. You know that she was done. She was laughing. She looked like she was on cloud nine after that. She was euphoric.
It was the same experience I had when I was like writing down every negative thing. It's like regurgitation, just like, you know, if you got a little too tipsy and you have to throw up, you feel better afterwards because you got every toxic thing out, and it just makes you feel so much lighter. You have more clarity. You can see what you need to do and where you need to be the next, you know, in the next moment. So, woo, that was powerful.
That was deep. I know when you brought it up, I'm like, I have to share this because I hope people take that and do it. Just do the work. Just go look up doing the work. You know?
Yeah, that's what it is doing the work.
Yeah.
Self-work. We all have to do it. You know, we can't blame our parents anymore. Like, it's not, they did the best they could.
Yeah.
You know? Everybody, even they need to still be doing the work.
Yeah, they do. Everyone has their own work to do.
We all have our own work
I think people who are maybe like a little less enlightened, they struggle with, okay, people talk about doing the work, but what does that look like? And I just want to really clarify for people, doing the work is therapy, is meditation, it's solitude, it's doing the thing that feels uncomfortable, it's becoming vulnerable, it's journaling.
Feeling your emotions.
Yeah, it's feeling the feels.
Confronting them.
Yeah, confronting the dark places in your life.
Out, you know?
Yeah.
Talking about it.
The skeletons in your closet is taking them out, dusting them off, and evaluating how did you get to this point. One thing I did before, so I just had a birthday, August 23rd. So going into that birthday.
That's my daughter's birthday. The one I was just talking about.
Connection.
Yes.
It's Kobe's birthday too.
It is Kobe.
It's a great day.
Yes.
But I did a 40-day prayer challenge leading into my birthday. I didn't talk about it on social because it wasn't for that. You know, it was like,
I love that.
Really, I just knew that I was like in a quiet, you know, you could sense when you're in that time in life where it's like, this is the quiet before the storm.
Yeah.
There's something big that's gonna happen after this moment, and I just wanted to get super clear with like what God was telling me. Like, I know that there is a change that I'm about to walk into, and I just want to get really clear. Like Lauren London said, I don't want to miss my mark. Like, I just want to like be super in tune with what God wants. Yeah.
How'd the 40 days of prayer go?
It went great. It wasn't I remember it got a little hard in the middle of it, but I finished strong, and I literally only missed like one day. So and then I got right back on it, and I ended literally on my birthday, which was so powerful. And then after that,
And I like that you didn't put it on social. Not everything. Shared,
no, it wasn't for social.
Certain things.
And then literally right after that, certain opportunities started coming into my mix. I won't talk too much about them because they're still kind of unfolding, but I remember telling my friend Destiny, Mom Crush Monday, I remember telling her, like, and I think I told you too, I'm ready for a new life. I did. We had that conversation.
Yeah, you did.
There is opportunities that are coming into my midst that is like, bitch, you said you wanted a new life.
As soon as, girl,
You can, it's coming. It's coming. And so now I'm at the point, it's like, okay, well, how new of a life do you want?
Yeah,
Like,
you need to define what
gotta
that
get
is, girl. It might be like, wait, I just
You're real specific.
it's like,
yeah, I'm like, do you want to move to a different city? Do you want to, you know?
Like, you never know.
So it's been really powerful, and I can continue to feel, it continues to feel like the momentum is happening and something is building up. And even this today, which I'm actually super honored that both of you, basically I came to Ashley with this idea. She was down. Ashley and I worked together. I managed her off dance career.
From a dance career, but so much more than dance only, but yes.
So we broker all the deals. We do so many things together. And so I came to her and was like, hey, would you want to be my co-host for this? She was down. And then I was listening to Charlie.
Your Instagram. And I was like, I love it. I love it. I already know it's gonna be so good.
I was listening to Charlie on a podcast, and and while they were still shooting the podcast, I'm like slacking her on Zoom, like, hey, you're really cool. Would you be down? And then when we got on social, we realized that we were already in each other's orbit. And then even to the cameraman, to the producer, it's like, I'm just excited that I had this idea. Not only did I not give it away, because that's really my
you
business
normally
to
do.
do.
Yeah.
I'll just give someone an idea, but was able to produce it and to bring people together, and people actually believed in it and want to be a part of it.
Involved
And be
yourself,
involved.
you
And
know?
me also be in front of the camera, because I'm definitely behind the camera. Always. So, you know.
Fabulous. People need to see that. Okay? For real.
Kudos to you for listening
Yeah.
to that when you said like it was in
That
you.
gut
What are you
feeling.
doing for you? Like this is so cool. And I'm
Yeah.
honored to be on the
That was
Yes.
my response. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm so proud of
Yeah.
you for doing that for you. Yes, I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like I want more people, not just women, but women especially, because I think women have the hardest time like surrendering to serving themselves. It feels guilty. It feels not natural.
I like don't feel that bad doing it anymore now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like now a year of me being like, I want to live a soft life, like saying it out loud, being like, I'm working smarter, not harder. I don't want to do, you know, X, Y, and Z because I'm getting old, like whatever, and just like embracing that, like I don't even know what I was about to say, but like, yeah, like just wanting a new shift and being okay with it being
People,
not as hustly. Like,
people couldn't believe that you opted out of the tour. People were making up so many stories about you opting out of tour, but people also don't realize how hard and grueling being on tour
much of a
is.
sacrifice it is. It's a sacrifice, you know, of time. Time is money. That's like been my quote of the year. Time is money. So like doing only that makes me lose out on all the other things that I've been like growing, building, and working on, you know? So causes only one like stream of income, which is hard. But then also it's a sacrifice. You miss out on so much. I spent 17 years on tour. Okay, I watched my nieces and nephews get older and older and older, and I missed all the birthdays and all of the funerals of the other family members, all of the celebrations. I missed holidays with family. Like I spent them in work environments with work family, you know. So.
And it's interesting that people are understanding that, and I would love to unpack, not right now, but I'm just saying my brain is like, I wonder what they're holding on to. Like, is it because you're giving up Beyonce, right? But when you reverse engineer that, it's like, we all have a Beyonce life to live.
We're all the Beyonce life.
We are all a Beyonce.
We're the Beyonce of our own life.
Her craft is doing her, and it's like I think that's where people miss is like you were able to do it so long because that was like your passion, so you were in it, but it was still work because you found that gift.
And I feel like I was supposed to be there as young as I was, as long as I was, to learn and apply to my world
next
and
chapter,
next generations, and you know, like employees that will one day work for me and all of that, you know, like it's a growth. It was a growth process.
And being on set with you, you can definitely see like all the training and every lesson that you ever took from B. You can see it, and how you know your angles, you know how to find the light, you know how to be on scripts, you know, like you've learned all of that, and it's just enriched who you are. And to be the professional and to still be able to get 6 and 7 figure deals without being on tour is like powerful to me. And I just love that.
And I still love her. It's no bad blood. There is no
that's
bad
the
blood.
thing. That's the part that I hate.
Like, set the
People
record
love
like,
to
and
say.
I will still jump on the damn stage with her too.
That's not to say that you won't ever dance with her.
No, it's just this year I had to make this decision.
But people live within their own limiting beliefs, and when that happens, they project onto you and just want you to also be in the
Like
box
them.
that they know you in. And it's like, no.
I'm working the same job for the rest of my life. You should be too.
It's like, that was me with my marriage. Like, but it's 18 years, but you have all those kids, and it's like, but but that's what it was and that's what it is. But like, you know, but to your point, me walking out gave them the reflection of like, you could too, you're just not choosing to. So now you're uncomfortable, don't make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, don't project
Like, you're
on
not the
me.
one who has to sleep at night in my head, in my bed, in my body. Like, you're not the one raising these children, so why do you have such an opinion of what I'm doing with my situation, you know?
Social media has really given
Oh,
people like so much power to the opinion. You know, they feel so entitled.
Yeah, and that's I always like I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but you saying that is triggering it again.
Yeah.
I like it's like, can we please make a movement that just because you see it on Instagram does not make
Right.
it true. Just because
Alert,
it's,
alert.
just because it's a meme does not make it true. Like, I was generating memes while we were waiting to start because I'm in this class like for advertising, and I was like making my homework memes, and I was laughing like, you can literally just write whatever you want, and just because you post it, and now we've been programmed through this lens of social media that if you consume it, it's real.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Stop it. Like, please double check, have your own intuition, your own backbone to cross reference every source that comes into your
awareness.
you know, awareness, because it's scary. Social media is scary.
And there's a lot more people who don't have that backbone or that knowledge
don't.
to want to like do the research on their own. They just simply see it and believe
And now they're like,
Yeah.
oh, see, I knew it was true. No, that was
Yeah.
your ego, sis. No, that was your trauma. No, that
Yeah.
was your self-doubt. That was your fear. Like, that's not real, or, you know.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes back into people just being in touch with themselves, doing the work, you know, and having that spirit of discernment to know. And also just to be honest about, like, look, we all like to take pretty pictures. We all like to capture the happiest moments of our life. But there's also a whole nother world that's happening behind the lens. And just like you have that happening, other people do too. So we just don't put people on a pedestal.
I would love
you know?
to hear your take from like your background, your experience, and you too. Like, this is just coming to my head, like, because this is where I'm at in my pivot. So I built my social media on the back of my business, meaning my life was the content, my story was the content. So what was happening in my home became what I taught from, and I feel like in this pivot season, I've been feeling called to go more private. So I'm curious, when I hear this all the time, and I always want to ask this, so I'm like, I want to hear your guys' thoughts, because that's how it helps me discern how I feel about it. Do you think, like, because social media is such a highlight reel, that we should be posting more of the negative stuff? Or do you think that we don't post it is why we're perpetrating that social media is such a fake place? Because we're like, you know, like, I'll give an example. I was crying one day in my car and I recorded it because I'm a content creator. So once the tears started, I'm like, let me capture this because then I can tell the story. That's how my brain works. But then I remember I was still married at the time. My husband was like, you can't be that sad if you're recording. I've been in dangerous situations and was like, I gotta record this. This is content. I'm a content creator.
Yeah.
Not everyone believes in that, but people persecute the content creator while y'all consuming our content.
Yeah.
So it's like someone has to capture them. So anyways, I'm just curious your guys'
that'll,
thoughts
like,
on
sharing, like,
I know not
really
everything should be
authentic
shared.
moment,
But
too.
authentic,
Yeah.
do you think we need more of the negative stuff?
I do, and I think the authenticity really is what people are drawn to when it really is like genuinely authentic.
authentic,
Like
yeah.
when you're
Yeah.
truly just like it aligns, like you're just swaying on the same wave and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we have a moment of being like, I'm be authentic, and then you're like, hi, and then like all of a sudden you're like, I'm not
On
authentic
action.
anymore. Like what
Yeah.
happened?
Like my kids say,
I
I
do
have a
that all the
podcast
time.
voice. I'm like, show me, because I don't know.
I do that all the time. And for me, I'm almost opposite. So I built my social media from just like work related stuff and like being associated to Beyonce for so long. I had to be private. Had to be. Like, couldn't share a lot, you know? I'm like way more open now, like sharing everything, like me without makeup. I'm wearing no makeup like most of the time, but like just sharing more intimate stuff, you know, a lot more stuff. So I'm like going backwards, but I still feel like sometimes you do want to be like private. And obviously, social media, you can't share everything.
Yeah,
because you're
yeah. It's
watching
dangerous.
24 hours of
Yeah,
content.
Yeah.
no, yeah. I
Yeah.
I did learn. Thank God, I learned the discernment of there's some things just not to share. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I love it here. What took me so long to get here?
Yeah.
But I got carried away. I thought I had to share everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like that I learned that. But I was just curious because I have heard people kind of like social media is not for your business. Social media is not for this and not for that. But then it's like, but you guys
It is
want
for what you make
want
it.
and
It
I
is
don't
what you
mean
make
business
it.
like money business, but I mean like your
Yeah.
business,
Yeah,
right? But
personal
it's like,
business, yeah.
but y'all want the positive business. So why are we not giving the negative business? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's all about, it's a case by case scenario, but I do think that there are some things that you should keep sacred, you should keep private, but it's like, I don't know, I think it's a balance. I think because sometimes your
Life
truth
is a
can
balance. We're
change
always
somebody's
on a
life.
beam. It's like,
Sometimes your truth can really save someone else if you're
can save
super
someone,
really
and
authentic,
it can
but
also ruin someone.
yeah,
It's
so
like-
it's all about just like that balance and understanding each moment,
It could ruin. I was thinking yesterday, I had this idea of doing a Halloween party, and my costume being a dead bride because I'm like kind of
re-
reinventing that.
birthing.
But then I was like, I don't want to ruin it. I'm not saying like marriage is dead. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. But then the content creator, the marketer in me was like, actually, that's a nice campaign for like, can we kill the idea of marriage as it is and reinvent it?
That's
So I
good.
was
That's
I was like,
powerful.
that's
I
how
like
I'm gonna
it.
use
I
that.
like
Yeah,
That's how I'm gonna use
that's
that.
I like
powerful.
that, bro. It's like content creators.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
But at
so
first I was
no.
like, oh, I'm not trying to ruin it.
Yeah.
No.
But like we were kind of talking about this before.
But honestly-
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
No, it's okay, go ahead.
No, but like not to say marriage is dead, but people are definitely
It is,
switching up
it's
the
switching up.
marriage.
That's what I'm
routine,
saying. It
you
is
know?
dead. I think every institution that has been to date is dead. It's reinvention
It
time
is,
across the board. So look at you're ahead of your time with this topic because or your perfect timing. But I'm saying you're leading the trend of. Guys, if you haven't noticed, the systems are crumbling. Like
Yeah.
everything is reinventing. Hollywood is reinventing. The church is reinventing. Like if you are not reinventing, you're going to be a blockbuster moment.
Yes.
100%.
Period.
Yes.
Thank you.
Period.
She said it. She said
Yes,
it. y'all.
and that leads into what I was gonna say before. And we were talking about this earlier, but now we're in the age of Aquarius. So in the age of Aquarius, it's like all the systems, all the structures are crumbling because now the truth will prevail. So anybody that had like that fake, for TV kind of relationship, we've seen those people start to, separate. All the things, even the fact that like now we know that aliens are real and we're seeing them having congressional hearings about it. It's like, well, a lot of people already felt like aliens were real, but now we're learning the truth about that. And it's like all the systems that we're like doing a dog and pony smoke and mirror show. It's like, oh no, all that shit is gonna be cut out. And it's like time for the truth now. And so moving forward, anything that we do, let it be in truth,
Ooh,
Yeah.
amen.
So
That's the
yeah.
best way to go, or else it's gonna come out
It's
another
gonna
way.
come out.
Yeah. You either gonna tell the truth or it's gonna be exposed.
It's gonna be
so you can pick the
exposed.
easy way or the hard way. You can
Uh-huh.
live in your truth, or you can continue to live a lie, which is why I think what you're doing is so powerful and revolutionary. Is like you could have continued to be in your marriage and be unhappy and live through those
Like a lot of people
years
still are doing.
that Michelle
Oh,
Obama
yeah.
talked about of not liking her husband, but instead of that, you're living in your truth.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, other people who aren't able to do that, it's like your shit is gonna crumble one way or another. It's gonna be exposed one way or another. You could choose to stay or you could choose to go, and that's up to you. I'm not putting any judgment on that, but either way, that's what
You
it
gotta
is.
face it.
You know?
Well, and that Michelle Obama moment, when I heard it, I think it's a real thing. See, I did not like my husband. That was what made it so hard to leave. That's what took me 2.5 years to actually decide, okay, I think this is over. Because I was committed to death to his heart. I know you basically, like the best marriage advice I got when I was getting married was, everyone shits and it all stinks, so you just gotta find someone who you're willing, who's worth putting up with the stink. Like,
Yeah.
and so like there's gonna be a period where you don't like your partner. That to me wasn't what took my marriage out. what took my marriage was the Aquarius season on the horizon of this is no longer equally yoked. I need her to do this, and if you can't allow her, then you're not. This has expired, and I think people get so attached. Nothing lasts forever, even a marriage, whether it's death or what. But I think till death, I think vows should be dismantled. Till death do us part is a death sentence because so many people are holding on to that, and they're literally dying inside to hold on to that marriage. Like I was physically dying. I truly believe that's why I'm purging. I think part of my throat and my cough, I'm not contagious. I've had this for over 4 weeks. I've gone to the doctor, I've taken medicine, and I heard my spirit say, this is purging, honey. This is not sickness. This is sickness that has been trapped in your body for 18 years of your intuition going, I see something wrong. Oh, I see something, and then being pushed back down and pushed. And when you put dis-ease in your body, it's going to manifest as disease. And so I think somewhere in me, I have some sickness, but I'm not claiming it because I know the tools to get it out. It's called facing it. I'm being honest. I'm letting all my secrets out. And I've been purging so much that it's just like, it's
I
just
had like a moment where my voice was like raspy for like 10 months.
yeah.
I would like, if I like went out and like talked a little
It's
louder
gone.
for the night, I would sound like that. And I used to wish I had a raspy voice because I was like, oh,
That's
raspy
it's so
voices, they're
cute. Yeah.
But then I was like, wow.
It's like
be
your
careful
throat
what you wish
chakra.
for.
Yes.
It's like your throat chakra is
It
blocked.
is.
That was
My
probably
throat.
also the time where you had to be more hidden and you couldn't
yeah,
be
yeah.
as vocal.
Yep.
And so it's like, okay.
And that's for the listeners. That's God right there. Like
Yeah.
if your body is hurting, go Google like what does the throat represent? What does the abdomen? Wherever your knee? What is the back? What's the neck? Go look up. There's natural
Things
things.
mean
Your
something.
body
There's
is
reasons
literally
for
telling you. And so for me, I've been literally praying like God. I know you didn't take me out of this marriage for me to play safe, and I'm playing safe again. I'm scared as crap to actually do what God's telling me to do. Because what's crazy is you're ministering to me right now because what God's, and I have truth tattooed on my arm too, or it's on the side. I don't know what side.
Oh, yes.
But like I've had this since I was like 20, and I just randomly got it. But it's because God has been telling me you're a truth teller. I didn't call you to be private so far that you don't do what you do best. People gravitate to you because they're like, did she just say that out loud?
Yeah.
But because he packaged me where people have to kind of palate me because they're like, she's interesting. Like she doesn't look reckless. Like that's how they judge you. Like don't look crazy and sound crazy.
Yeah.
Because then we're just like, oh, they're
Yeah,
crazy.
you're getting
You're
dismissed.
crazy.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
But now it's like she's got 5 kids. She was married. She looks like a nice, good girl. But then this fire's coming out of her mouth. And it's like God showed me. I saw myself. He's like, I made you like this for a reason. Now stop playing and go do
use
what I
it.
told you to do. And that's why my throat got locked up. Because God was like, so if you don't want to use your voice, is this what
I'll
you
take it.
I'll take it. Is that what you want? It's like you said, be careful what you prefer. And I'm like, okay, God. I'm drinking my tea. I'm being, and then the other lesson I learned is I gotta listen more than I'm talking, and that's where he's working on me too. Like, no, you gotta just listen. Stop. You don't have to talk. I'm an
Sometimes,
observer. I'm in my observer season. Like, just sit back and listen. You know. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, ladies, this has been a powerful.
This is
We could talk forever.
I know.
I could talk all day.
We
I'm
could talk
"We start
forever.
eating now?"
I
You
know, like this has been really powerful, and I just like actually thank you for joining me as a co-host on this. It's gonna be a fun adventure.
Host.
I know. Cheers to your
And
guys' adventure. This
thank
is
you.
exciting.
Cheers.
And thank you for having me.
And thank you for being our first guest. You
No,
were
like
perfect.
I feel so honored. I think it was a perfect topic to have me. So thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was like needed conversations and
Yes.
openness. Oh,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
First episode. We're out.